Welcome to Advice for Elderly. What if I told you that the very drink sitting in your kitchen this morning, the one millions of Americans pour without a second thought, could quietly be the key to restoring strength, energy, and the confidence you thought was gone for good? I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a men's health specialist with over 3 decades of experience helping men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s reclaim their vitality. For more than 30 years, I've listened to men speak with frustration, sometimes embarrassment, about how things just don't work the way they used to. But what most don't realize is this: the difference between fading performance and lasting vitality often comes down to a few simple, science-backed choices, not prescriptions, not surgery, and certainly not luck. Today, we're talking about one of those choices. A drink you probably already love. Something that doesn't just wake up your mind, it wakes up your circulation, your hormones. And if you'll stay with me until the end, maybe even your sense of manhood. Now, before we dive into the science, I want to ask a small favor. If you care about staying strong, sharp, and confident as you age, hit that like button right now. Why? Because every time you do, this video reaches another man who may be quietly struggling, wondering if it's too late for him. When you click like, you're not just supporting this channel, you're helping someone else find hope. And for that, I want to thank you. May your mornings be steady, your heart be strong, and your spirit never give up. May every click you make bring back a little more strength than you thought you'd lost. Go ahead, subscribe, hit the bell, and tell me in the comments, do you believe a drink as ordinary as this could help a man feel young again? Type 1 if you're curious, or 0 if you're skeptical. Either way, stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this simple drink might just change everything. As men cross into their 60s, something quiet begins to change, not overnight, but slowly, steadily, like a tide that retreats just an inch more each year. I've heard the same words from hundreds of men sitting in my office. Dr. Prescott, it's not gone, it's just not the same. Let's clear this up right now. You are not broken, and you are far from alone. What's happening isn't just getting old. It's physiology, chemistry, and blood flow, all three slowly shifting as time moves forward. Erections rely entirely on one thing: circulation. When you're young, your arteries and blood vessels are supple and responsive. They open up easily, letting blood rush into the penis, expand the tissue, and keep it there. But after 60, your arteries start to stiffen. The inner lining of those vessels, called the endothelium, becomes less efficient at producing nitric oxide, the natural chemical messenger that tells blood vessels to relax. Without enough nitric oxide, blood can't surge in the way it used to. Then there's the matter of what life adds on top: high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, extra weight, a little less movement, a little more stress. Each one silently chips away at blood flow, confidence, and stamina. That's why I often tell my patients, erectile dysfunction isn't just about sex, it's a reflection of your overall vascular health. When blood flow struggles in one part of the body, it's often struggling everywhere. The penis is simply the first organ to show the warning sign. Here's the good news, and it's the entire reason you're watching this today. Because if the problem is circulation, then anything that improves circulation can help restore function. It's not about chasing youth, it's about improving flow. The heart, the brain, the muscles, and yes, your most intimate organ all depend on the same river of blood. And here's where things get fascinating. One common drink, something you may already enjoy each morning, can naturally support that blood flow by boosting nitric oxide and gently opening your arteries. It's safe, simple, and science-backed, but most men have no idea it's helping them. Stay with me, because in the next section, we'll explore what the research discovered about this very drink, and how it may quietly hold the key to feeling like yourself again. When I first read the research behind this drink, I'll admit I was skeptical. After all, how could something so ordinary, so woven into daily life, possibly make a difference where expensive treatments often fail? But science has a way of humbling even the most seasoned doctor. Researchers turned to one of the largest and most respected health databases in the United States, the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, or NHANES. They looked at over 3,700 men aged 20 and older and asked each one a deeply personal question. Could he maintain an erection long enough for satisfying sexual intercourse? Then they cross-checked that information against one simple lifestyle habit: how much of this common drink each man consumed every day. The results stunned even the researchers. Men who drank the equivalent of 2 to 3 cups per day were nearly 40% less likely to report erectile dysfunction. 40%, that's not a subtle hint, that's a flashing sign. And here's the most inspiring part. The greatest benefits were seen in men who were overweight, obese, or living with high blood pressure, men who often walk into my clinic feeling like their best days are long gone. Of course, as a doctor, I have to say what most clickbait headlines won't. This study doesn't prove cause and effect. But it does tell us something powerful: that this drink may help your body function the way it was always meant to, that blood vessels can still respond, that your system, even after 60, still listens when given the right signals. And the science fits. This drink contains natural compounds that relax blood vessels, stimulate nitric oxide, and improve circulation, all vital for a healthy erection. Now I know what you're thinking. All right, Dr. Prescott, enough suspense. What's the drink? Don't worry, I won't drag it out any longer. The answer is one you've likely held in your hands 1,000 times before, and after hearing what it can do inside your body, you'll never look at your morning routine the same way again. Up next, we'll reveal exactly what this drink is, and why it might just be the most underrated ally for men's health after 60. Yes, gentlemen, the drink we've been talking about all along is coffee. That humble cup sitting on your kitchen counter right now, the one you probably sip half asleep before the day begins, may be doing far more than you think. For years, I've watched patients walk into my clinic, coffee in hand, apologizing like they've brought in something guilty. They'll say, "Doc, I know I should probably quit this stuff." But here's the irony. That same cup might be quietly supporting their circulation, their testosterone, even their confidence, as long as it's used wisely. Coffee contains caffeine, and caffeine is what we call a vasodilator, meaning it helps blood vessels relax and open up. When that happens, blood flows more freely throughout the body, including to the areas that matter most for performance. Think of it as loosening a garden hose that's been kinked for years. Suddenly, everything flows again. But coffee's power doesn't stop with blood flow. It also affects the brain, increasing dopamine, the neurotransmitter that fuels desire, focus, and pleasure. Many men believe their performance struggles are purely physical, but I've seen time and again that the mind plays just as big a role. When dopamine rises, so does motivation, connection, and confidence, all critical to healthy intimacy. And here's something I often tell my patients: coffee isn't a magic pill, but it's nature's quiet nudge. It won't fix everything overnight, but it supports the very systems that tend to weaken with age: the heart, the brain, and the vascular network that powers them both. Now, let's make one thing clear. This doesn't mean chugging cup after cup will transform your life. It means that within moderation, your morning ritual could be one of the simplest, most natural ways to protect circulation and restore vitality. I've seen men in their 70s return after just a few months, saying, "Dr. Prescott, I feel alive again. It's like my body remembered how to work." And often, that journey started not with a pill, but with a cup of coffee and a bit of curiosity. So if coffee holds this much potential, the next question is, why does it work especially well after 60? What changes in the aging male body that make this simple drink such a powerful ally? That's what we'll uncover next. As men age, the body begins to rewrite its own rules. What once worked on autopilot now requires a bit of encouragement. Blood vessels stiffen, energy dips, and that sharp mental edge dulls just slightly. For many men, it's frustrating, a slow erosion of strength that feels personal. But the truth is biological, not moral. And that's exactly why coffee deserves your attention. See, after 60, your heart pumps blood a little less efficiently, and your arteries lose some of their elasticity. The result? Slower circulation, lower oxygen delivery, and reduced nitric oxide production, the very molecule that allows blood vessels to relax for a strong, lasting erection. Here's where coffee becomes more than just a beverage. The caffeine inside it stimulates your central nervous system and temporarily increases your heart rate, not in a dangerous way, but in a way that boosts blood flow to every organ, including the penis. It's like flipping the on switch for your entire vascular network each morning. But there's another layer, one that most men never consider. Coffee doesn't just energize the body, it awakens the brain. Studies show it enhances mental clarity, reaction time, and even mood. That's why I often remind my patients, performance isn't only about what happens below the waist, it's also about what happens between your ears. A confident mind feeds a capable body. And perhaps my favorite part, coffee supports cardiovascular health, the foundation of male vitality. Men who drink it in moderation have shown lower risks of heart attack and stroke, two of the biggest threats to longevity. In essence, what strengthens your heart also strengthens your performance. I've seen men in their late 60s come back to my office months later saying, "Dr. Prescott, I feel like myself again." Not because they discovered a miracle, but because they rediscovered rhythm, that morning ritual that brings life back into motion. Now, before you rush to brew your fifth cup, let's talk about how to use this natural tool safely and effectively. Because like any medicine, the difference between healing and harm comes down to dosage and discipline. When it comes to coffee, more isn't better, it's just more. I've seen men make the same mistake over and over. They hear about the benefits, then start drinking cup after cup, thinking they've found the fountain of youth. Within a week, they are jittery, can't sleep, and wondering why their heart feels like a drum solo. That's not progress, that's imbalance. Here's the truth: coffee is powerful medicine when used correctly and poison when abused. The key is balance. Research shows that the sweet spot is about 2 to 3 cups a day. That's enough caffeine to improve circulation and alertness without overwhelming your nervous system. More than that, and you risk irritability, sleeplessness, anxiety, or bladder irritation, all things that drain energy and confidence. Then there's how you prepare it. I tell my patients this all the time: don't ruin a good thing with bad habits. Black coffee is ideal, simple, clean, pure. But if you can't drink it that way, a splash of milk or a natural sweetener in small amounts is perfectly fine. What you want to avoid is turning your morning cup into a dessert disguised as coffee. Sugar, heavy cream, and flavored syrups clog arteries and sabotage the very circulation you're trying to improve. And timing matters. Coffee in the morning supports your body's natural cortisol rhythm. It wakes you up without wrecking your sleep. But drinking it too late in the day, that's when trouble starts. I've seen men who can't fall asleep before midnight and then wonder why their energy crashes the next day. If you're living with high blood pressure or heart disease, it's always wise to talk to your doctor before increasing your intake. Every man's body is different, and what fuels one might overstimulate another. Used wisely, though, coffee becomes what I like to call a daily tune-up for the male engine: gentle, reliable, effective. It can boost energy, improve blood flow, and even restore confidence, all without a prescription bottle in sight. Now, I know many of you have sent me questions and comments about this topic, some supportive, some skeptical, and a few downright funny. So before we move on to the habits that amplify coffee's effects, let's pause and go through some of your letters. Every week I read through your comments and letters, and let me tell you, gentlemen, you never hold back. Some of you ask sharp, thoughtful questions, others tease me like we've known each other for decades, and I love that. It tells me men are finally ready to talk openly about what's been whispered about for far too long. So let's tackle a few of the best ones that landed in my inbox this week. Question 1, Dr. Prescott. I'm 68 and on medication for high blood pressure. Is coffee really safe for me? Great question and one I hear often. If your blood pressure is well controlled and your doctor gives you the green light, moderate coffee is not only safe, it may even help improve blood vessel function. But if caffeine makes your heart race or causes dizziness, ease up. Remember, balance, not excess, is the rule of thumb. Question 2. My wife keeps saying coffee dehydrates me. Should I drink more water instead? The hydration myth a classic. Coffee is mildly diuretic, yes, but it doesn't cause dehydration when consumed in normal amounts. Just make sure you're drinking water alongside it. Think of coffee as the ignition and water as the engine oil. You need both for the machine to run smoothly. Question 3. Doc, I can't handle caffeine. Am I doomed? Not at all. You can still benefit from decaf coffee, which retains many of the same antioxidants and blood vessel-friendly compounds, just without the kick. Or try natural alternatives like beetroot juice or green tea, both of which support nitric oxide and circulation. Question 4. My buddy swears coffee kills testosterone. Who's right, me or him? You are. In fact, studies suggest moderate coffee may slightly increase testosterone levels due to improved circulation and adrenal balance. Too much caffeine, however, can spike stress hormones like cortisol, which interfere with testosterone. Again, moderation. Question 5. I tried drinking coffee in the afternoon and now I can't sleep. Any fix for that? Simple, shift your last cup to before noon. Coffee has a half-life of about 6 hours, which means even an afternoon dose can linger in your bloodstream by bedtime. Respect your sleep and your performance will thank you. Gentlemen, your curiosity keeps this conversation alive. So keep those questions coming. Type them in the comments, whether serious, funny, or skeptical. I read them all, and who knows, your question might just shape the next video. Now let's move forward. Because while coffee alone is a great start, combining it with the right habits can take your performance and your confidence to a level you haven't felt in years. Coffee may light the fire, but it's your habits that keep the flame alive. Over the years, I've learned that the men who experience real, lasting change aren't the ones chasing miracle drinks or quick fixes. They're the ones who rebuild their daily rhythm, who move, rest, and eat with purpose. So if you truly want to amplify what that morning cup of coffee is doing for you, here are 3 habits that will multiply its effects tenfold. Habit #1, resistance training. I'm not talking about trying to relive your gym days from 1985. I mean simple, deliberate movement, push-ups, light dumbbells, resistance bands, or bodyweight squats. These exercises don't just build muscle, they increase testosterone, improve circulation, and make your blood vessels more responsive. Think of it as keeping the pipes polished. Even 15 minutes a few times a week can make you feel sharper, stronger, and more grounded. Habit #2, prioritize sleep like it's oxygen. Most men underestimate the power of a good night's rest. Testosterone, growth hormone, and nitric oxide, the holy trinity of male performance, are all produced while you sleep. Without quality rest, no supplement or drink will save you. My rule for patience is simple. Aim for 7 solid hours in a dark, cool room with no screens in the hour before bed. If you can't fall asleep easily, consider cutting your coffee off after noon. Your body will thank you in the morning. Habit #3, eat to support blood flow. Nutrition is your secret weapon. The foods you eat can either block or build your arteries. Choose the ones that open them up: leafy greens, beets, citrus, garlic, and fatty fish. These foods naturally increase nitric oxide, reduce inflammation, and keep the heart-penis connection strong. Pair them with coffee, and you've got yourself a natural performance-enhancing regimen, one that works from the inside out. I've seen men who followed these 3 habits along with moderate coffee drinking come back to my office practically glowing. One man in his 70s told me, "Doc, I haven't felt this alive since my 40s, and all I did was start walking, sleep better, and drink my morning coffee black." That's the beauty of this approach. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency, doing small things well over and over again until your body remembers what it's capable of. And yet, there's something even deeper we must talk about, something beyond blood flow, hormones, and habits. Because every man's greatest challenge isn't just physical, it's emotional. When I sit across from men in my office, what I see isn't just fatigue or poor circulation, it's frustration. I see the quiet pain of men who feel they've lost something sacred, their confidence, their spark, their identity as capable men. And I always tell them the same thing: you're not broken, you're just disconnected from your body's rhythm. The good news, that rhythm can be restored. See, an erection isn't just a physical event. It's emotional, psychological, and deeply human. It's a reflection of how alive you feel, how connected you are to yourself and to your partner. When that starts to fade, it's not just your body that feels it, it's your spirit. Men withdraw. They stop reaching for the person they love. They joke about getting old, but behind the humor there's quiet grief. But then something remarkable happens when we start rebuilding. A man begins to move his body again, eats better, sleeps deeper, and yes, drinks his morning coffee with intention. Slowly, blood flow improves, but even more importantly, his belief improves. He looks in the mirror and sees possibility again. He laughs more. He shows up differently. I remember one patient, Robert, 72 years old. When he first came to see me, he said, "Doc, I think my best days are behind me." 6 months later, he walked in with his wife, smiling, hand in hand, and said, "Turns out, Doc, I was wrong." What changed? Not just his body, but his hope. That's the hidden medicine in all of this. Coffee, exercise, nutrition, they're not just physical tools. They are rituals that tell your body, "I still care about you." And when you start caring for your body, it responds in kind. So here's the bottom line: erections don't fade because you've grown old. They fade because circulation slows, habits slip, and hope dims. But all 3 can be restored. You can still rebuild blood flow, regain energy, and rediscover the man you thought you'd left behind. Tomorrow morning, when you lift that cup of coffee, I want you to remember this. You're not just waking up your mind. You're waking up your blood, your passion, and your purpose. If today's conversation resonated with you, hit like, because every click helps another man find this message just when he needs it most. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel so we can walk this journey together. Tell me in the comments, what part of your vitality do you want to rebuild first? Your energy, your confidence, or your connection? Type it below. I read every word, and your stories inspire me as much as I hope these videos inspire you. Gentlemen, age may test us, but it never has to define us. Drink your coffee, move your body, and keep your fire alive. The best days aren't behind you, they're waiting for you to show up again.